Ooh, would you look at these fryers here, huh? Hey, some big boys there, big boys, big boys. Good morning, folks. It's 7:38 a.m. on the third day, second month, 2026. Right, I've seen some evidence going on in the signatures on the clouds and the EMF itself that from mimic of activity of ships out in the oceans off the coast of Australia. I'm pretty sure it's one of the Chinese type ships. I'm not sure if it's this class one that's on the west coast off the coast of Western Australia, but I could see signs that this one's been active in the Coral Sea, and I can see most likely this one is Wall because I've correlated its position sometimes with beaming events. Uh, People will say, well, we've had an X flare, it will make that do that. Well, I predicted this X flare would happen on my birthday yesterday, and it did. And I didn't predict the X flare, I predicted the lie they would use to cover up their experiments they're doing in sky glow and stuff, where they use chem and hit it with EMF to make it look like an aurora, because that's called sky glow experiments. And if you look into this yourself, you'll find this. You know, this is a USA based vessel. It's not likely to be this one, right? This is how I look at things. I definitely see this is more of a harp type one that they can tow on a barge. There's lots of little horn emitters here. That's what these are on top here, and there's some towers inside this cage here, and they can link multiple barges together. So basically, they can make a really massive array in the middle of the ocean. Next rad platforms and stuff, highly advanced to be able to control a beam while the boat is rocking, right? So this takes some very, very advanced tools, if you will, or advancements in science to do this. So I'm going to show you why I say this, right? So I'm going to turn off that picture. And I found this by just Googling electromagnetic warfare deterrent barges, China. Okay, that's how I got this one to come up. You'll see this type of activity very often when I look at Mimic. I see this going on. So today I was catching activity of this type beam here, which is really big, and that one there is mostly this type does that type of blast. That's almost like a harp or a super darn antenna array would do that type signature, and that'll be that little one. It's halfway, well, little if you will. So you see these little mesh in here, and I can come up with quite a few images of this ship as I did my homework on it. Somebody even built a model of it. Yeah, they took it to a show, and I got great details of it then. These mesh here are not short, by the way. These are full-on towers. It's a full-on barge con tower of a boat there. There's a next red radar next to it. Yeah, they got lasers on this too, and they got the ability to defend it. And that's what these little things are here, okay, for self-defense. Because I've done some looking into some of these things. Yeah, invasion barges. How would they just pull on up with a big bridge to your house? You just, hey, we'll get ashore. They think of a lot of things, ain't they? Thinking of a lot of things. So these spy ships, they're out there on our oceans, and while they're not shooting down missiles, with their high-powered antennas being able to create plasmoids that are hot enough to melt missiles, and we see their activity over here in the ocean. And so what started with this image here, right off the coast here of Western Australia, I saw this. I was like, oh, you got a ship out here, and that's a big ship. And that could be one of those Jan-class vessels, very possibly. But I don't think that's one of the barges. It's definitely not Exmouth. At the Exmouth base, Holt base would have looked different. That's the signature of a Nexrat onshore doing some perturbations as well. As we're creating a heated area out here that when the low comes, it's going to have a very difficult time getting out to sea. So I've been trying to find a weather model that has something forming here that's significant for Western Australia. So when I went out here to this area, the timing of this one, and there were some really big beams that occurred, but time matters. It does what going on here. I wasn't too happy. So 1 o'clock in UTC, and that would let my time at about 6 hours, 7 hours ago. this event occurred out here. So I'll go to that. So 1 a.m. UTC, right? So I can go to this spot out here and say, what is going on? Well, there's the big scalar square, and so I'm going to very conveniently make this so we can maybe even get a side-by-side going on. Hello, Squigs. How you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna map this, and I'm gonna try to put the mimics side by side. I'm gonna try something today, a little different. Right. So we have here. We saw an EMF signature from here, and here's the scalar square. Here's beams. So I say, especially when it's one of those heart barges, because that's an X-rad signature out at sea, where there is no known island that I know of. I see some activity here. It's something that looks like this. See that little pinwheel right there? It's a geoengineering motion, that one. But these beams are very important. You know, as they shut this area down through a path of what we call resistance. There's also a beam coming out here. So this is international waters. You can have one of those vessels. That might be a heart barge, y'all. It would take nothing to tow it out there and then just erect that up. Boom, boom, boom. So it pulsed a lot of moisture towards shore there, and it left a gap. As the signal goes out, it weakens. So this is where the weak front will be, where things can settle in. See, I'm expecting something to come in through this corridor, and it also allows this to have a flow passage here. Bit of EMF went here. But that's good news for this area, because they need a break. But that's going to pin this. This is stalled now. Stalled. All flow towards it is stalling it. So you don't expect that to go anywhere until past this line here over the next 24 hours. But I do expect it to get to that spot I just circled here. Look, it'll get to here very fast, actually. You see this setup here? So it's coming. This is where the low will go very fast today. So it's tracking right to there. So expect that. But this arc beam here is going to turn it. And when it gets to there, before it turns it, it's like bouncing a ball back and forth. You have to stop it. So it'll vibrate a bit in place there. That's when you get a little bit of quake activity sometimes in places that are seismically active. See that went ashore here like that? Look at all that chem. That's probably a barium or strontium solution. It propagates waveforms of EMF very, very, very well. I haven't even looked to see if this is rolling yet. So, yes, it looks like something's going on. So, let's say, so I did go on and pick out a graphic that kind of shows something happening, what I'm expecting. Because the EMF has spoken. It's not just our mimic showing those signatures, right? Because I had this and this side by side, right? So we can do this. Right, I could put these side by side, right? And we can come up with this. You see the signature here, right? You see this? Like overlapping squares made a triangle. So here's the square right there overlapping. See it right here? See the square? That's the other square over here. See it? So it's changed cloud dynamics itself. So that's why I say you've got a vessel off your coast. You have a vessel off your coast. So that's what I think about that. And that's just that coast. You have another coast to go. Okay, so let's hey, is that cool or what? Isn't that cool? That's my background picture. Today, it spits a new one every day. So there's a lot of activity of beaming going on out here. The next big beaming event was out here. And it's massive. So let me get to that one now too. And this is not good for bowling and all that. It goes right over it's right made a flow line. through Bowen, right down to right to here. So I'm gonna have to make a quick squiggle mess for you, because coming up here in where was it exactly? Yeah, I have to switch on you guys now. So watch this unfold for you. Yeah, a little bit different kind of sort of thing. So its beam came through here, and I was picking up signs of a ship. You have one here, and it's going to cause a flow, and you have one through that's going to start making some this moisture get down towards New South Wales in here. So it's going to trigger some very violent thunderstorms. Big pulse over the tip of Pepe here, but the evidence of ship pretty much was right where I'm pointing, so exactly there in that parallel. And you see this ship here beaming, so we'll go find that now. So that's on the left screen. It was on 2 a.m. UTC, so we go wherever that. There's the tip there. You see the beam sweat? That's a reflection of the sun, but the dynamics change. You see these arcs through here coming out from Pappy. And right over to you guys. So I'm gonna mark the map now, because this is what we do when we prove things. So right about there should get everybody on screen. Green. Should we stay with green? Since I'm not showing flow, I'm just showing first let me mark it, then we'll go side by side. Alright, here's where the plasma density, when the beam comes down like this, right, it's hot air will rush because it heats that up because it excites molecules, and faster molecules motion is equivalates to heat, so it flows in both directions when you have a line. And these beams, let's just say this one here is probably about, from here to here, probably about 200 kilometers wide. You know, that to that is the distance. You know, it's like the road for, well, if we measure the distance from here to here, you'll know how wide that beam was. It's not a little bit the perturbances of the atmosphere that goes on to the vibrations. Like, you see the square line here, that edge, see that edge there, see the edge here, pulsations held in that path, right? So these just told me they're bringing something in. And when you got a beam sweat that goes like an angle like that, it pushes water that direction, right? If you put a beam through here, a big line of chem, and push that line of chem with a beam, it would squeeze it the opposite way, and it increases the velocity of the wind, and the condensates tend to get thick, and it causes rain to happen, like Happy Man's hat there, isn't it? And we ain't keeping that up there. So, back to the beam markings. So it definitely had the pulsations right here, 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 and here, and that's important to notice. All right, now where is the water going? This is very, very important to know. So the V is like this. So we know that it's coming this way. There's no line here all the way across here pushing it. So right now they're just condensating. I can say that. And like it gets like a bicycle pump and push that down that lane. You'll end up moving that along. So all they got to do now is lay chem along these lines here, inside these troughs and peaks of the chem, depending upon what they want to happen, hot or cold. The peaks, you know, like the top of the wave up here is where the clouds tend to form, right? Did you see that? It just went away so fast, and where the clouds form. You must think I'm making a mistake. I'm drawing a ghost. Hi, it's Happy. Mr. Happy winking at Jazz. Mr. Geo Bill. Geo Bill's a dill. So we got a lot of geoengineering on this area here. Even this area, you can tell they've made a flow boundary. Again, this is all about flow right now. Where are they going to direct storms? And you got a few wild ones today. And so the proof of the ships at sea is evidenced in the clouds themselves. When you look out here, you know, you ain't finding a scalar square in the middle of the ocean unless you have a device emitting that type energy there. we have that right there. We have it right here. Again, and here. We have a whole lot of stuff pointing in one direction here, with a big square in the center of it. You see this geomest here? Let's get a better shot of that. And then we'll put it up next to mimic. See the square here? It's done with flying something around. Most likely a drone and farting off like a volcano, because that's the kind of color you got going on. Look at that, like an E. A bunch of bombs right there going off. See it? This is geoengineering. You should see over the top of New Zealand today. You have a white deck of clouds, but over the top of that is so many chem bombs that have gone out. I'm surprised there's a single person breathing left alive, or a creature, from all the fallout of this stuff. And this falls out. Not all fallout you think of is nuclear. Right? How about nucleated condensate fallout? Yep. That's what this is. Anytime a pressure like this brings moisture around a corner, that edge there will spit the condensate. Spits it right towards the ground. Every time a raindrop falls and mist is in the air and you're breathing, you are actually breathing chem. Preformed particles that have purposes of reflecting sunlight back out into space, or changing the Earth's albedo, as they know it. Boom, percussion ring, boom, percussion ring, out of the edge of an explosion. You don't think that'll move cloud masses? Last time I checked, that's just how that works. And it's all around this one area where Mimic showed the beams. Mimic said hi. Mimic said hi. Mimic said squares. Mimic said squares. Mimic says, you guys ship out here. Then we nailed an exact spot of where I seen it happening. And it was right down here at this particular moment, right over that big mass of nasties. This big nasty mass right here is where it did it. So let's remark that, because it's so remarkable. I think that's also one of the barges. Or can one of those big ships tow a barge? Will they work together? You know, in a group, you will you? Because, you know, if that's an electromagnetic warfare, why does this thing look like a ship? I know that shape is really weird for a cloud to take, you know. In the middle of nowhere, there's no island to give it that shape. You know, there's mighty sculpted edges here. What, are they doing some kind of an experiment? Or are we getting wave echo off the top of a vessel with lots of squares in it? I think that's more likely. Last time I checked, there's nothing that big in the ocean. Your ship is right here. That's where your ship is at that moment in time. So let's go find it. And there it sits right here. So let's do that thing again. And that spot right here, across this island, right here, these little, right here, off these islands, this signature here, beam in that direction, that direction, that direction, and that direction, and this pulse came from that island itself, has beamed the weather towards Australia, towards the coast of Bowen. And if that is a Chinese ship, at what point has China just now not attacked Australia from international waters using weather warfare, and then used it to buy up the land and financially cripple the world? At what point have you just now not been attacked internationally from international waters using weather warfare? I say you have, and I say I've just shown you evidence of it, and here's what it's going to lead to. On this side of the country, it's going to lead to this. I get to take a break for a moment because my hand's not liking all that motion I was just doing. And holding that pen, whew, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I said it first. But it's okay to be an idiot. I'd rather be an idiot that admits what's going on and does something about it. You know, speaking out's a hard thing to do when it's an unpopular thing you're speaking out about. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I'd like to take a moment to thank everybody for the wonderful birthday wishes of yesterday. No need to jump on that bandwagon. It took me most of the day to say thank you to everybody, and if I missed you, I'll get to you. So let's see, am I really live? Please say I am, because that was an effort. Yes, and the sound is working. Holy mother of pearl. Somebody says they're nearly flooded in Darwin, first time ever. Well, you keep an eye on things, and the thunderstorms are pretty relentless. But that EMF block they put out there might have just it put some sugar on your donut, kind of a thing. You see how it's going to be dying out a bit. But the dynamics are there. You're always one chem bomb away and a fry it from having to start, right? So we're back here to Wednesday. It goes out to sea. That's when that low will form. There's nowhere for it to go. Okay, that beam's off the coast to set a line of solidity in the upper atmosphere. These beams are going really high up, 100 miles up, not unusual. Yeah, they make the sprites happen, I think, sometimes. If I fire a chemical straight up into a vibrating atmosphere that's super excited with lots of electrons moving around, I could make a sprite happen. You know, one of those red things that I have busted that they've been firing in the wrong direction, some of them. Yeah, so that got picked up by people. So thanks for spreading the word on that, folks. I can't share my work, you know. They'll take me out. You guys share my work. You guys are big heroes this last 365 days. You saved a lot of lives. You really have. Because you keep going, I keep going, right? They ain't got nowhere to go. You're looking at winds on that about 60, 65 kilometers an hour. You'll be just on the edge of what I says is a cyclone, but nothing like the rest of the world will even call it anything but a tropical storm. But there's nowhere for it to go. I don't see how it isn't going to cruise down the coast and just brush against it. So from here on out, I'm not in full agreement, and I don't see what the EMF is. And so without doing that, I can't say an effing thing. Let's have a big look over towards this coast here, because I just saw the setup. Yeah, we just seen the setup for Townsville and Bowen and that. Well, let's see what's going to yield. What's this weather attack that by a that's a Chinese geoengineering method. I've seen it before, many times. And I busted those ships before and seen them with my own eyes off the coast of Fiji while I was there, and looked at Mimic at the same time and seen what it was doing, seen where it was aiming, and got to learn off of that. You think you won't teach this robbery? Are you kidding? All they teach you at romper room is to question your very existence, so you're not even happy with who God made you. Everybody was made perfectly fine. Get over anything somebody says you should be, because they didn't achieve what they wanted for themselves. Right. Your skin is crawling. I would go into that more area. My wife, you got like creepy crawly bugs. Julie's doing some farm stuff. She's stuck because she can't get her car out of the ditch because she needs a tractor and it's too wet for a tow truck. Just relentless rains for you guys. Ain't no cyclone or nothing. This is what I'm expecting. Oh man, that's going to lead to some really wicked totals when they finally bring all that water ashore down that big funnel they just created. Oh man, when they run that line of chem across it, I'll know when she's coming. It looks like Thursday and Friday, just in time for your weekend. Isn't that nice? Let's make those rivers run. But hey, Crocs need some wandering room too sometimes. Ooh, he went there. Have it. Oh man, son of a bun of a sitch. Look at this shit for, oh man, the Tully oilet flush going on there. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I was over half a meter. That's what they're saying, but this is making a little sense there. They're laying a Bowen. So they're going to send the water down to the northwestern side of that beam. Okay, so this here, this is common. So that's what's common. So they're going to send a pulse up this direction, that way. That's how that's going to happen. Where are the steps? this is deep geoengineering. Where one day I'll get into the steps. They say it's something else when I pointed it out once, but with Mr. Squiggle, I explained it too well. They had to come up, weatherman had to come around there with his big degree and debunk what I said. But you know what? About like this thing that looks like a devil laughing at you here. Yeah, my weather forecast was correct, and his was not. Wow, you see it? That's never good, man. When you see like this old tiki mask going on in the area where the headhunters used to be, I'm gonna fucking bunga stars for you. That's stuff that's going to the Philippines. So, yeah, the water memory of that's not very nice. So, if anybody can bless this cloud with beautiful, loving water, I love you, and don't let it be evil. You did nothing wrong. This plume is going over the top of this plume that's over the top of this plume, and over the top of this one that looks like a mouth with a big tongue in it. You got a lot of layers of stuff going on out here. Billionaires got a lot of money to spend. See that plume there is going over that one. Which way should the water be running? All right, the breeze should go in that way. So nothing should be flowing that direction. So where is this cloud growing that way? Ooh, this one's shooting across down here on the low deck. Hi, the Chem Bomb cruiser. Have a shark. This in a V. Boy, is geoengineering getting advanced. But drones can do a lot. Drone operators don't have to be sitting in the gondola of a place, so they don't have to have all this apparatus to make sure you can breathe in the cockpit. Bzz, the fryer going on here. So you see that big line coming out, and then going back, so the ship is here. I'm going to teach you to read this ship. Pulse going that way, pushing that direction. Yeah, dude, where the volcano happened was right about here. Somebody was asking that the other day. Right there. In the middle of that scalar square. Yeah, it's being vibrated big time right now. That's not cool to see. Look at the old, here's the old Lando cane out here, right? Just still just going along, being chemicaned all the way. Oh, total chemicaned that. I look like one of those things going, yep, 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 yep. Now I'm going to use my imaginary. So you got the two eyes. Two eyes in the middle of it. Simultaneous square storms. Oh, those are chem bombs. Boom. See? Boom, boom, boom. Go the plumes. Boom, boom, a boom, plume, a plume, and pluming you. Boom, boom, the plume. Breathe them in there in the room. Yep, that chemtrail is in the room with you right now. Hey, Kunanur, is that a natural formation there spreading out like old spider web in the sky? I sure hope no webs start falling out. Electra spun webs. Can you say Margallons? Boom. Look at it, look at it. Who's every flight in the world coming over the top of this one spike in the world right now and nobody's hearing all these planes going by? Or perhaps we have some kind of a artillery method being deployed. Why, look at all the mud going out to sea here. Wow. A lot of flooding. Somebody said Darwin. Maybe it was over there. Look at you guys. Wow, you guys got smashed. Look at this false skylashes over here. What in the hell is this? Let's go out one little tick. Square forms. Boom, boom, plum. See, boom, boom, boom. These are the big nucleus. The Nazified sky right there. It's pretty obvious. Like they dropped old wheat snack on the ground here. There's no holes in it. Everybody want a wheat check? Get wheat a bit. That's boom boom plumes, not just EMF plasma. That's explosions. Or something flying along and fizzing out something that's farting out a cloud. Look at this all in formation here. This is all plumes. So what are they making out here? This is the one that they're going to fuck this coast with a bit more. What a shame, what a shame. Well, you're trying to take a breath of air down here in New South Wales. Good luck. This is what a chemical attack looks like. Who controls the airspace of this country should be held responsible for the air quality of this country. You agree to that? Whether these are all boom boom plumes. From Master Bateman's Bay all the way over to Canberra, down to Bowel Roll over there. Yeah, smudgies over mudgies, crubble over double. The old South Wales smashed, absolutely smashed. You think this is just popcorn clouds? When you look inside, you see the formations. Dot, 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 dot. Devilish looking formation over somebody's house. When they're doing dark magic over the top of you on a Sunday sometimes when you're going to church even, it's absolutely disgusting. Look at the scalar square here off the coast of New Zealand. In here. You want to see some plumes. Oh, it was a great shot some earlier, right at sunset. Where you always get your best shots. I zoomed in on a deck of clouds here. And I was watching how they were going over the top. Right here. All the clouds were flowing, this way. Out to sea. But these were not. They were coming and going in the same spot. And the plumes were going the opposite direction. It was like it moved that way. The plume itself did go downstream, right? It did go that way. But how did this formation occur? With straight lines and everything as it's falling down, unless something is being propelled. Absolutely scandalous. It's supposed to be summertime, and the cold weather coming over here is not going to relent. It's like winter never left, and I look at Tassie over here, it's like ain't a breath of air for them at all. This is what it looks like when the gas chamber comes to you. You over there worry about Syrian attacks in one country and gas attacks in another, and all worry about Palestine and this and that. And really, you ain't worried about your own selves. And I think you need to look up at your sky, quit looking at your fucking phone and doing what you're told to protest, and start giving a shit about water itself and how it's being used. Give a shit about air quality more than just saying, blaming a cow's ass. A cow ain't flying over the moon, folks. Just because the nursery rhyme says it. But the dish ran away, snorting off the spoon, that's for fucking sure. Look at this lines over coughs. Hey, you guys getting ready to get it. Yeah, I'm going to have to calm down or I'm going to get one of those headaches. No, I'm not well yet. I'm still suffering, recovering, I should say, from a concussion. So I'm doing my best here. Wow. The absolute crime scene. What's this going to lead to? What kind of totals are these poor folks going to get? Down here where all this chem was. And it's going to lead to the terrible totals. That's a bunch of fire accelerants as well. Look at the totals through this right through here. Look what's coming. Look what you're getting ready to get. Right, this is coming next week. And then those last 2 days there, oh my God. So there's big tendrils coming, folks. You better get ready for it. Because I think the geoengineers don't care about you. And if they don't care about you, we need to start caring about each other. Not just about ourselves. Fucking hell, look at Warwick. Well, look at Stan's orbit, because see, you got a fire here. Know the difference. So that's telling me the direction the wind is going. A lot of frying going on there. I bet you for anybody with fibromyalgia stuff, I bet you're aching. This will flare up some of your autoimmunes. Absolutely noticed a correlation myself. What the hell kind of cloud is that? That's a geoengineered cloud. And all the news giving you a cloud of lies, trying to milk some tax and trying to make you feel it's your fault, and it isn't. This is a corporate thing going on. My God, look what they've done. I'm going to roll the forecasty part. I can do this if I calm down. Calm down. Let's go look at what they got going on for you guys. I'm going to roll it this Saturday. Because it looks like it wasn't a much, right? Judging from the isobars together, the winds ain't going to be too fierce until we get those storms coming. Cold's going to continue. Let's start from here. Somebody said they could see stuff on the ground in Melbourne the other day. I saw some of your pictures from Melbourne. It was an absolute crime scene. It really, really saddening to me to see. I've shed many tears over feeling I failed, that I haven't gotten this to stop yet. And then I have to realize what I'm up against. You know, I'm up against billionaires. And when they put all their pot together, we ain't got a pot to piss in. It's really hard to even afford to print a flyer when you're on the bones of your ass. And anytime you try to fund yourself, people come at you like you ain't worth having no fun and to fight nothing. So I'm not fighting that no more. The day I have to charge a subscription to do the weather is the day I quit. The truth shall not only set you free, it should be for free. Terrible, terrible issues. And the thunderstorms to be expected in the afternoon hours almost every day throughout these areas in here, because the conditions are absolutely perfect for. And well, the conditions are perfect to make hailstones to smash greenhouses and gardens right at the time they're supposed to be able to be picked so you can eat them. It happens. Oh, you want to break a business? Smash the windows in their greenhouse at harvest time, after they've already took out the loans to buy all the stuff to grow everything. Yeah, our oppressors are good, man. They know what to do. But when the D-Wave computer controls the weather, because there's no way a man could do this, I'm going to have to say this, and it also invests in the commodities markets and everything else, and the sickness markets. Well, then the computer has every motive in the world to be a suspect in what's going on there. And if it ever gets personal entity status, how do you lock up D-Wave computer? You can't jail it. It's in everything you've got. A little code in your phone could carry it. Yet when it hides itself because it doesn't want to be deleted. Interesting. Yeah, that flow over Brisbane will be a relentless afternoon thunderstorms like every day coming next week. So we'll be watching for that shit. Yeah. Fun day Monday. Gotta go see my manure over here. We'll take you right back here and show you that your weather is just as manure as you thought it would be. We'll take you right to the beginning. Get Tazzy and the screen a bit. There we go. Here's what I told you was coming, and it's happening. It'll snow over there just in those passes, just like I predicted. Remember, somebody said, "Did you just call snow?" Here it comes. Yeah, yo. The weather outside is frightful at this time of year. But when the groundhog says more winter, he agreed with me too. I think it's 5 more weeks, not 6, because my shadow was not fully defined. I'm in a different hemisphere. No, actually, I'm northern hemisphere, not western hemisphere, because the western hemisphere line is it runs right through Istanbul. Yeah, you walk across the Bosphorus and you'll be there. Yeah, I straddled that bridge. One side sells beer and the other don't. One side's very fundamental. Don't be looking at all those thunderstorms going to fuck with you on Friday, right? We'll get to those as they're here. And today's thunderstorms, I got a covering that's rolling across Queensland. You're going to want to see where theirs are headed. I got a few geostorms that are where the radars don't show that I'm going to need to show you where they're headed. I'll be spreading that motherfucking truth because, man, in a world full of fluoride and cavity heads, truth decay must be fought. So we must cure that truth decay. This is where I'm going to stop as well. We'll get iffy until we see the bees knowing that everything's going to happen, or that we can't say where the ships are going to be. Why blame just China? But the method showed me it was China. Yeah, well, China attacked Australia today on both coasts. And yes, what's their prize going to be? Land. So, right, I'm going to jump off here now, and you guys are going to stay safe in this big, beautiful world. Stay beautiful. And if you ever wondered what it looks like when the gas chamber comes to you, this is what it looks like. Stay safe. Peace. bless this planet. It needs it.